from PRX.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and friends beyond the binary, it's time for the podcaster. As soon as best to create a safe place here for everybody. Say, geez, this is a podcast to help you out and put you to sleep. You're welcome here in the Climb-In Closet, live, where we record Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. Sleep With Me podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are the things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations. All right, everybody, it is time to talk about tonight's sponsor, and it's the bed I've been sleeping in year after year after. You've been hearing me talk about Helix mattresses for years. Here's a question. Have you taken the Helix quiz? Okay, we'll take it right now. Go to helixsleep.com/sleep and take the Helix Sleep quiz, because you deserve a mattress made for you and how you sleep, your feel preferences. What do you need, right? Did your mattress ever ask you that? And I can say that because my mattress is right in the other room. It says, yeah, Scoots, actually, before we even met, I asked you, hey, do you sleep on your side? Do you sleep on your stomach? Do you sleep hot? Do you sleep cold? What firmness do you like? What else do I need to know? Talk about the foundations of a relationship that lasts a long time. You know, you could tell your mattress, tell it right now, you're in bed, right? Say, I got needs. I need you to meet my needs. And it's something that's going to improve your sleep, improve your days, improve how your body feels. Because when you have a mattress that's right for you, it makes your life better. It's a simple thing. That's what Helix has been all about. That's why we've been partnering with Helix year after year after year. But more importantly, every single night, I'm in my Helix bed. So it's time for your mattress to start caring about you and your needs, right? So how do you do that? Well, Helix has got your needs in mind, too. Go to helixsleep.com/sleep. That's 27% off site-wide, plus a free bedding bundle. That includes a sheet set and a mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress order. This Memorial Day sale offer is exclusive for listeners of Sleep With Me. That's helixsleep.com/sleep for this exclusive Memorial Day sale offer. That's 27% off site-wide, plus a free bedding bundle. That includes a sheet set and a mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress order. That's helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everybody, it's Scoots, and if you're hearing this, you might be a super listener, one of those 20,000 people who fall asleep fast to the show, who listen night after night, who listen all night long, who have listened for years, people whose lives are made better by the podcast on a regular, ongoing basis. You count on the podcast. It's a part of your life, right? It's a service you use. And right now, we need 1,500 of you to think about how valuable Sleep With Me is to you and support the show on Sleep With Me Plus. Like, does Sleep With Me make your life better? And are you willing to support it back if you're able to? You'll get ad-free episodes, early access, but you'll also get something else, which is the quiet pride of supporting something that makes your life better and the lives of thousands of other people every single night. Super listeners just like you, and people that are just going through it, that only are going to listen for a few weeks or a few months because they're in the middle of something. So if you're planning on being a super listener, or you've been for the past 3 months, maybe you're going to be for the next 3 months after this, the next 6 months, the next 2 years, the next 5 years, think about supporting the show. If you're only around for 3 months, you can always cancel, but you'll be helping keep the show going for you and the comfort it brings you in the deep, dark night. And the cherry on top is it helps a bunch of other people as well. And you could do that right now. Do not wait. If you're hearing me, you're the person I'm talking to. I'm not kidding with this. I need you right now. So you can start your free trial at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. whatever level works for you, whatever level you feel like Sleep With Me brings in value to your life. And then again, yeah, if you're only around for 3 more months, just cancel. No worries at all. Thanks. Oh, Mystery Bard. A lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at jonathanmann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. And don't forget, the most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me is with sleep phones. You can get Sleep With Me merch, Sleep With Me branded sleep phones at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep-phones, and use Sleep With Me at checkout to get $5 off your order. The only way you can get the Sleep With Me merch editions is sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep-phones. Thanks, everybody. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and friends beyond the binary. It's time for the podcaster that today I'm so grateful for that moon mode on iPhones. I think it's do not disturb because I got so many emails last night from the website Downtime Monitor that I did that, but I didn't care because they didn't come. So it's time for Sleep With Me. What did I call it? The moon mode of podcasts. Are you up all night tossing, turning? It has a nice ring to it. Moon mode. I'm about to slip. Hold on. I'll be right back. I'm going to slip into moon mode. It's me. I'm already in moon. I just realized meaning moon mode meant something different. As soon as I left the mic, I realized I think probably, when is moon mode the most funny when you're a kid? Like 5th grade, 7th grade? A whole other meaning of moon mode. But I am in moon. The other moon, it's time for sleep. If you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep, well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast to put you to sleep. You can't get out of moon. Now I have a moon mode distraction. We do it a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to do is create a safe place where you can set aside whatever's keeping you awake, whether it's thinking, thinking thoughts, contemplations, other brain stuff, mental activity, mental acuity. That probably does not go with bedtime. Actuarying. What is it is actuary is a noun? What is the actuary? What is the verb version of actuary? Is it like accounting or notarizing? Is a notary public and an action? Those aren't the same thing. I hope they're close. If we lived in a Western town, would they share an office, an actuary, and a notary public? Sorry, I'm in mood mode. What I'm going to do is create a safe place where you can set aside whatever's keeping you awake, whether it's thoughts, feelings, people, it's just circuitous logic, snoring animals or partners, buzzing phones. Do yourself a favor. Put yourself on, put that moon mode on. And because it shuts off if the same number calls it twice, because that also happened to me this morning. Because what happened was I was like, oh, I don't want to look at my phone to see if the website was up and down all night. When you're listening to this will be like 3 or 4 weeks after this website crisis. But like I said, I don't want to look at it. And then I must have jumped out of bed either to let the dog out or to use the restroom. myself or maybe both of us. And also to give, like, I'd like to try to do all three of those things or two of those while my coffee, the last cup of coffee from yesterday, I put it in the microwave for 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then ideally, as my dog, because it's cold right now, she'll come sprinting back inside. I'll be washing my hands at the kitchen sink. And then I'll grab my cup of coffee and, debate getting back into bed or not, But this morning, all that did occur. But then I get back in bed to just, and then I couldn't find my phone. And I wasn't supposed to be using it anyway because I had other stuff I wanted to get done, before I started wasting time on the internet. But then I said, well, let me do a little time wasting. Does this sound familiar even at bedtime? Let me just wait. So let me just check a few things. I got to see what's going, and then I couldn't find it. So then I retraced my steps, couldn't find it. So then I did I said, "Aw, shucks, universe, you're really playing with me this morning." And then I tried to get myself to do what I was procrastinating, which is stretching or meditating. I said, I'll do those things after I get a little, I need a little dopamine first, universe. Then I looked for my phone again. Like I said, well, maybe like I was in such a hurry to get the dog out and to pee that I dropped my phone, couldn't find it. So then I have something set up with the woman that lives in my speaker, whose name starts with an A. And there's a IFTT thingamajig. These aren't technical terms, but it's a wonderful thing. You could sit up and you say, hey, speaker lady friend, could you call my phone? And she'll call your phone. And I said that, and then I knew my phone was on vibrate, but I forgot the moon mode was on. So then I got quiet and I didn't hear anything. And they said, oh, the moon mode's on. I'll never find my phone because I already did. I was ready to give up so early in the quest, the call to adventure, the call to be distracting myself on the internet. I guess that's the call from adventure. But so I said, oh, wait, let's check out the moon mode. Let's see the limitations of this moon mode. Do not disturb, right? And I think they say if someone calls you twice, like they need to get a hold of you, it'll turn on the second time. And so I said, woman that lives in my speaker, please call my phone again. I don't think I said again. And she called it. And then this is, if you were there with me, it'd be embarrassing. I was literally on my pillow. It started buzzing right under my pillow, just inches, like not even inches, centimeters, millimeters from where I sat, where I was ready to abandon my quest for distraction. And then I realized, okay, this moon mode really does work. It gave me even further confidence in the moon mode. How well that designed is. I said, well, geez, if the random phone number that my speaker uses to call an IFTT protocol, which uses, I think, Google Voice to call my phone, can get through after the second attempt, and I'm confident in this moon mode. Also, then I went right to my couch and started writing. I think I was shaken, to my, I think my distraction need had passed. So then I just sat down and started writing. No, I didn't, maybe I did meditate. Maybe first I said, to the person, I said, could you just set a timer for 5 minutes? I think I did do that. Let's say I did. And then I sat and breathed for 5 minutes. Then I got my writing done. And what was my point? Welcome to Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. If that level of excitement will keep you awake, then I don't know if this podcast is for you, because that's like just a day in the life, day in the life of, okay, don't fill in that Mad Lib or whatever. That's the kind of wild stuff we have around here. Moon mode. This is the only time, because if you're lying in bed, the reverse of all that can happen, or the same thing. and you don't want to be debating, you don't want to be actualizing or whatever those other words I used earlier. Ideally, you're not using your phone, though you may be craving it. And I think that's a perfectly natural craving and a desire. As I just went through, you say, well, it's just let me check. I know it's not good for me to check on there right now because I get lost in there. Because you go, so this podcast is meant to distract you because I guess that's really what happened. Let's see if we would retrace what were the positives about that experience, other than all the layers of technology. Say, Scoots, there's your problem. Go live in a cabin. And I would say if you like, I already have the makeup of a person that I'm close enough to a cabin-bound person. But so I think all of the hullabaloo around my missing phone was a distraction, unintentional. But this podcast is full of intentional distractions. What I'm going to do is use these creaky dulcet tones. I'm going to send my voice across the deep, dark night. Tonight we'll just do a little story and we'll run through some stuff here. But basically, it's a podcast about you don't have to take me seriously. That should be clear. You don't have to pay close attention, because ideally, every 10 episodes, I like to say, this would be like the water cooler or the breakfast table experience might be for a typical podcast user, a typical Sleep With Me podcast user, whether you're in a relationship or someone else at work listens. You get to breakfast, you say, well, geez, did Scoots, what was up with that? Did he lose a piece of foam, did he say? Or I don't know, dear. I think he lost his slipper phone, he said. And he was talking, I think he calls his slipper Moon Moan or something like that. Did he say he calls his, does he have one of those cheerleading megaphones? Is that what he uses to make the podcast? Maybe that is what he said, that he was, maybe, I think he keeps one of those by his bed, a cheerleading megaphone or whatever they're called. And he had lost that. I don't know how you'd lose a cheer phone. And he calls that his moon phone. I think what he does is he yells at the moon before he goes to bed. Through the cheerleading phone. Yeah, that's Scooter, huh? Yeah, but that's the podcast. Maybe do you think he stares at the moon through that thing too? Probably. He probably argues with the moon, though. I can see that, Oh, yeah, that's Scooter. Anyway, you look great because you're so rested. Oh, so do you. So rested. Let's have these, whatever, kale smoothies or cinnamon toast crunch or whatever you choose. So that would be a breakfast conversation about the podcast. If you're new here, I appreciate you stopping by. I know if you're skeptical, this is a strange thing. I'm a strange man. I'd like to earn your trust, and the only way I can do it is if you give the show a few tries. If you think the podcast is definitely not for you, I'm sorry for using up 15 minutes of your time. But ideally, I'd like to say, you're welcome here, to all my friends beyond the binary, to everybody. This is what I'm trying to create is a safe place that can work for whoever it can work for, to take away all that tossing and turning. So I appreciate your time, and thanks so much for stopping by. I really hope and I really yearn to help you fall asleep, all right? Hey, everybody, this is Scoots, and you might be the only one hearing this message right now and listening to me, and that's why I need your attention. If you're the one person hearing me, you're the reason the podcast exists here in the deep, dark night. Unless you're new, then this probably isn't the best message for you. Or you're like, yeah, I've only been listening for a couple weeks, and I'm almost done with exams, or my guest is about to leave, or my travel for work's about to end. If that's the case, don't worry about it either. The podcast exists for you too, but it really exists with the community of people that the podcast is a part of their life on a regular, ongoing basis, whose support we need back. So we're trying to get, well, I guess it doesn't really matter the number because it's just me and you here, and it's really the truth. I've been doing this a long time. And it really comes out, because here's the thing, if this message is getting through to you, If it's not getting through to you, it means it's not getting through to anybody else either. But if you're nodding your head, you're saying, yeah, this podcast makes my life better. Yeah, I want it to be here 6 months from now so I can listen to it and other people can listen to it. Yeah, actually, it's more than made my life better. I remember what it was like not to be able to sleep. And yeah, I listen on an ongoing basis. I would love some of that sweet bonus content. And yeah, either I could afford to support the show at a level where I feel comfortable and I feel like, yeah, that's the kind of value it brings me. Or yeah, I could cancel that streaming service I don't even use. I use Sleep With Me 10 times more than that streaming service, and I pay more for it. What am I doing? If you're nodding your head to all that stuff, the biggest challenge is you got to go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus right now, unfortunately, and interrupt your sleep. But you could set up the bonus content tomorrow, but you might be the only one. And it's only like the thing is, if I get through to you, then I have hope to get that 1,400 plus other people to support the show as well. But if you put it off, if you're like, no, somebody else will do it. Nah, I don't feel like it. Nah, I've been there. But that means, so I got to figure this out. And I love making this show. I'm not giving up on this, right? I want to keep making the podcast and bringing comfort. More people than ever need this podcast right now. And that's when it gets the toughest to make the show. And we were able to do this. We're just trying to get back to where we were in 2020, in 2021. We got there before in a tough time. So, yeah, we could use your support. If the podcast makes your life better on a regular basis, do not wait. Sign up at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Thanks. Okay, hey, everybody. So tonight's episode, I thought of this idea recently. And I know a lot of people are big fans of the, what do they call it? The real-time recipe episodes. Now, this won't be a real-time recipe episode, but we'll kind of talk about some stuff around it. And I'll explain what Trader Joe's is did I talk about? Oh, no, I didn't. I'm already distracted. So if you're new here, real-time recipe episode is where I make a recipe in real time, essentially. With a few things, powered by the magic of podcasting. But I usually take the listeners for a trip to Trader Joe's where I do most of my grocery shopping. And I guess you could say I'm I don't think I'm obsessed with Trader Joe's, but I'm a big, I like shopping there. I think their prices are pretty good based on the price of coffee. That's the only thing I really base my... They say, well, that's a pretty good price. I buy the ground French roast. It's $5.99. And I say, well, you can't beat that as far as I know. And they tend to have, anyway, I don't want to what is Trader Joe's? So Trader Joe's is let's see, this isn't based on facts. So hold on, hold your horses. Trader Joe's is a chain of grocery stores. So far, I think I'm correct. In the Western United States, again, I don't know how widespread they are. Most of what they sell are their own brands. So Trader Joe's branded stuff. So almost like a generic store, though a few things are different, are branded. And so I guess I'm not very good at making a delineation there. It tends to be quirky, and it's smaller selection than a big grocery store, like a full-fledged grocery store like a Safeway in the West or Wegmans or Publix or Tops. I'm trying to Pathmark, those are the big ones. And so Trader Joe's a little bit smaller. And they tend to be busier, and they might not have every single, it's smaller, so they don't have everything you'd have at a grocery store, but mostly everything. And I don't know, I just tend to like it, and I did try to get them to sponsor the show, mostly by listener participation, and they said they don't do any marketing, and, also... if you don't listen to this podcast, people think, they say, what? Say what? That sounds great. I'm glad you can sleep. I think that's usually and they don't say it like that, though. That was my own spin. But they say, oh, that's great that you can fall asleep, but we don't market on podcasts. Not a huge deal. Like, I still love Trader Joe's. I'd love it if they start sponsoring podcasts in general. I think the markets are pretty closely aligned. But this is not a piece of marketing. But it's based on Trader Joe's marketing and my experience. And maybe, if you're listening with a critical eye, you might say, well, marketing really works well on you, Scoots. And I'd say, well, great. But Trader Joe's is Trader Joe's. Their main piece of marketing is this thing called the Fearless Flyer, which you get in your mailbox. You can get at the store. It's printed on newsprint, and it's basically like a flyer. I think they probably put it out like 5, 6, 7 times a year with all the seasonal items they have, and whoever writes it does a really good job. Also says, I think, that it's all rights reserved or something on the back of it. So I will be paraphrasing from it, but I thought, we'd take a journey through the Trader Joe's Fearless Flyer for the holiday season that just passed, because I'm a huge peppermint fan. And also, as you'll see, like, I tend to, you'll see, like, when certain products come up. So I figured I'll run through. I don't think I'll read everything. But if if there's products I've tested, I'll give a little review, and if I have personal stories, that's it. So this is the 2016 Fearless Flyer for the end of the year. On the front page, there's 3 things, 2 of which I have not tried. One is the rainbow of honey. They say there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. What if it's a rainbow of honey? 6 different honeys in different hues. Each from a distinct floral source. I did not see, maybe I saw this. Let's see how much it costs. $9.99. I think it comes in like little jars. So that would have been a good, like, door gift. What do you call those when you go to somebody's house? A door gift. But I always feel bad about giving someone something from Trader Joe's. But I didn't try that. I inconsistently consume honey. That's one reason. Another reason is I probably don't want a different honeys, because I always have trouble, like, with one thing of honey. It gets stuck to the counter. I mean, I can't get honey. If you want to get, I guess I got honey issues, honey. Remember Nut and Honey? Nut and Honey, that was an ad campaign back in the 90s, maybe. Also, I don't think this was on a box of Nut and Honey. I think it might have been on Special K. One time when we were little, there was a guy on the back of the box that looked just like my dad. It wasn't my dad, or so my dad said, but it looked just like my dad. And if you want to know what my dad looks like, if you've seen the movie Taxi Driver, he looks like De Niro, or he did when he was that age. He looks like, my dad looks a lot like De Niro. My current father, he looks like Silver Linings Playbook De Niro a lot. Like I said, holy cow, that's a lot like Dad. And maybe that's just the essence of, but so I hadn't tried that honey. And then there's a winter wassail. And I think a listener last year told me, I can't remember who it was, so I'm sorry, but they said that's terrible. I drank it and it's terrible. But it was an NA beverage, with like juices and spices. And the listener said it tasted awful, so I never tasted it, and I don't think I ever will. I don't think it just it sounds like something that might be good if you were drinking. But since I can't drink alcohol, cinnamon mixed with apple, lemon, and orange, that just doesn't sound tasty to me. So that one's out. And then the third one, which is like a peppermint chocolate bar, I did buy this at $2.99 for 1 bar, $4.25. And I still have half of it in my fridge. And this was this year. I think this is a new item. It's a dark chocolate infused with peppermint oil. So already, like I said, well, there you go. Because I can eat dark chocolate. And probably the good thing for me with dark chocolate, if I was like disciplined about consumption of sweets, like all I can handle is a tiny little bite of it. Otherwise, it's just not desserty for me. It's too chocolatey. But I found the peppermint really cut into this, and then it had a little bit of, candy cane, goodness on there. And I just love peppermint, and I do love peppermint mixed with chocolate, especially with candy, peppermint candy in there. So this was a good one, but not, I guess not, it was just still intense. I never finished it. It's still in my fridge. And ideally, I'll eat it at some point. So that's the front page. Now let's just hop to the back page, because these are the prime items that everybody's going to see. First one, this one I've tried 2 out of 3 and 2 big thumbs up. And then the third one, very big chocolate bars. We're not kidding around. And again, I guess this goes to like my feelings on chocolate, but I did see these in the store. They're Trader Joe's commendation bars. 2 kilos big, 4.4 pounds, 70 ounces. And they say big, they mean it. And they have milk chocolate and dark chocolate. And I guess you get like just something fun. I didn't, I like chocolate mixed with other things, but not by itself. I don't know. Or like a tiny bite of chocolate. So that was a very big chocolate bars. But it seems like, it'd be fun. How about this? Maybe next year I'll go sledding on one of these giant chocolate bars. Hey, Trader Joe's, what do you think about that? If you sponsor the podcast, I'll go sledding on one of your chocolate bars. Maybe, I'll always say I will. I mean, that could be fun, and that would be unique. And chocolate, gets more, more rigid with the cold. I mean, I would do it in its wrapper, or we could do both, depends on how many episodes you want to sponsor, but that could be fun. Or maybe, but then I guess, $14, how much does a sled cost? Also, I don't know how big what the dimensions are of a 4-pound bar of chocolate. I kind of looked at it, but I don't remember. Okay, so the next thing on here is Trader Joe's Triple Ginger Brew, which is gingery ginger ale. I got 2 bottles of these at home. It comes in like an old school bottle, like you'd get some Northern European beers in with the pop top that kind of stays on there. And it is delicious. It's a 750 milliliter glass bottle with a swing top closure at $2.99 a bottle, plus tax. Really good, sharp ginger ale. So if you like ginger ale, I recommend it. Like I said, I got 2 bottles, and I think $2.99. That's like for is a little spendy, but the bottle's real nice. It's good for the holidays. And then when we get to this next item, is a winner on multiple levels. So if they have this next year, I highly recommend picking one up early in the season. Though a year from now, I can't guarantee you'll have the same results as me. This was like something my expectation was very low. And oh boy, was my expectation, like I would have rated this. I mean, I think I got my money's worth when I bought it. I said, okay, I'll get my money's worth from this, but I got probably, the cost of this item was $5.99. And if I would have, I'll explain it, I don't know if I got $10 of value out of it. I probably did. When you look at if you value experience and joy, probably got $20 or $30 out of this one. And that is the Ugly Sweater Gingerbread Kit. Trader Joe's Ugly Sweater Cookie Kit. That's what it is. It's not gingerbread. And in each box, there's 10 pre-made cookies, which right there, that should be like a warning sign, of course, in 5 different sweater shapes. And then there's there's 5 of vanilla and 5 chocolate. Then there's 3 things of icing. In their own bags with their own decorating tips, and then a bunch of different kinds of sprinkles. And I had bought this kind of like on a whim because, in impulse. This was an impulse buy. And I said, well, maybe Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, if there's going to be, depending on where I'm going in the youth situation or the gamability of adults, I'll bring this, or if me and my daughter want to make them one night, we'll do that. But I'm not really good at decorating cookies. I can bake cookies. But so come Christmas Eve, I believe it was, I went somewhere, and there was two of, I don't know what the modern, but then Christmas Eve, I went somewhere, and two of my nieces that are in, one's in high school and one's in college were there with my daughter. And we had some downtime. I said, I said to my daughter, why don't you see if your cousins want to make these ugly sweater cookies? And they proceeded to do a wonderful job as far as making ugly sweaters. And it seemed like they enjoyed it. The sweaters looked really good. It was fun because I got to participate by making sure the sprinkles tasted good. And also you have to warm up the frosting by friction, by squeezing the packet. And I did that. I did good at that. And so right there, any of those things, I would have been very happy. $5.99. Well, I would have said I got $10 worth of use out of this thing. But then I ate myself one of these cookies, and I got to tell you, I had a vanilla one. I don't know if I had a chocolate one. I had more than one vanilla one. Let me tell you, they weren't rock hard. So these were cookies that have been boxed for I don't even know how long. And it wasn't as soft as a sugar cookie, but it was just the right mouthfeel that you'd want in a pre-made Christmas cookie or any kind of pre-made cooking. And then it had the frosting and the sprinkles. Now the frosting, I believe, and you're going to say this sounds as wacky as you do, Scoots, but I think I can taste the dyes in a lot of these things. And it just is just a tiny off flavor. So the frosting was good, and it was a really good consistency too. And the fact I'm used to tasting dye in cookies or whatever frosting, so it didn't really take anything too away from it. And then they had the nice, the sprinkles they had were really good. The frosting job that the decorators did was amazing. And then, I had another one for breakfast the next day, or I guess breakfasty time. I think I probably had 2.5, maybe 3 all told. So that was really knock out of the park. So those are our first 2 pages, and I'm going to dig into the inside of the Fearless Flyer now. Okay, this next one in the first page and the inside it's like a cookie kit in a mason jar. I saw those in the store. And that one, I guess buying pre-made cookies doesn't make me feel guilty, but buying pre-made cookie kits does. And so I didn't buy that. If I see it on sale, maybe I would, but I say, well, it's just so hypocritical. Like I said, that's lazy. As opposed to buying store-bought, cookie decorating kits. But yeah, if we can't live in hypocrisy, where could we live? Next up is Jingle Jangle ice cream. I did not try this. I don't know if I have. I think one of the reasons is it doesn't have peppermint. I say if I'm going to get a holiday ice cream, I want it to have peppermint in there. And I think that was just an easy decision. Also, I have ice cream in my fridge or freezer that I haven't had. Okay, now this is a mouthful, even the thing. Salty honey, toffee, milk chocolate covered crackers. And I think this was one, I don't know if this one caught fire. I could see that they thought it might. And so basically it's a saltine cracker dipped in chocolate with honey, like a Ferrero Rocher type toffee on there. But the thing was, in the package, it didn't look it almost looked like a chocolate dipped graham cracker square. And, I guess this is a criticism. I mean, this is a run through. There wasn't enough salt. And it was a really intense dark chocolate and maybe not enough toffee. almost like there was more, it took, like there wasn't enough cracker to say, like when you have, like a chocolate covered pretzel and they do it right, that's an experience. You say, well, this is perfect. You know, this is the perfect mix of a salty pretzel with whatever chocolatey coating. This one wasn't quite there. So maybe next year, Trader Joe's. I mean, I did buy it. I did share it with some people because they said this is a unique thing to try. Let's see, they're kosher certified, so that's nice. And I don't know. I think like it was fun to share, and I shared it with people that really like dark chocolate. Hopefully this is the right thing. I think so. But yeah, I guess I would say like so a little more salt and toffee. Okay, so that's that one. I think on this page, oh, let's see if I've tried anything. Sticky toffee pudding. I may have tried that before, and it's good a la mode, but not recently, so I can't say. I mean, I'm almost positive I have tried that, and it's really good a la mode, but not, I wouldn't say, like, so good you have to buy it. $4.49. I'd say if you're cooking dinner for someone, like a date or like a rekindling type date, and you make it and you like plate it nice and then do it like with a nice ice cream and probably be a good, but I don't know. I can't I guess like I say, well, it's not bad. Didn't blow my mind. Some of these other things have blown my mind. Okay, this next one, chocolate cherry Danish. I never seen that. Probably wouldn't have got it unless it like, I love cherry Danish, but chocolate, so I didn't try that. Crunchy truffle trio. I think that has alcohol in it, so I didn't try that. And, yeah, I don't even remember. There's so many different truffle things, and we'll probably get into the one error I made last year. So that's that. Chocolate chip waffles. I bought these, and this goes in I bought like 2 kinds of waffles for breakfast for me and my daughter. For on the weekend, we have a sweet breakfast. And normally I make something from scratch, but I said, well, it's these chocolate chip waffles. She loves chocolate. She loves chocolate chips. I'll get her chocolate chip waffles. I'll get myself the Belgian waffles, and we'll have waffles à deux or something. Even my daughter said these were too chocolatey. The combination of the chocolate waffle with the chocolate chips, she said that's too chocolatey. So for this one, I don't know, they'll have to be repurposed probably as like an ice cream sandwich with vanilla. That's the only solution I could think of because, or maybe I guess a dessert. I'm just thinking on the fly now because they're not going to fly for breakfast. If a 9-year-old won't eat you and she says you're too chocolatey, sorry, chocolate chip waffles. But she was very impressed with the Belgian waffles. Let's see. Brie stuffed with garlic and herbs. I didn't try that, but I'm sure it's good. Canadian cheddar aged 5 years. I think you could use that for that beer cheddar soup recipe I made a couple of years ago. That should be in the feed somewhere, and maybe that's from last year. Then a grand blue cheese. We had a couple blue cheeses Christmas Eve, and I don't know. So I didn't try that. Then phyllo dough. How do you say that? But I think I did buy this last year, and I think I got my doughs confused, and I bought it for the wrong thing, and so I was annoyed. So, and then the other thing with Trader Joe's in this kind of item is like it's not always in stock; it's seasonal. And so phyllo, not phyllo. Oh, they said for the record, it's phyllo, not phyllo. Oh boy, Trader Joe's, you just lost. I hope you didn't lose any customers there. So I guess they don't have anything. Let's see, double cream brie with truffles. No, I didn't try that. Roasted garlic and onion jam. I like how that sounds, onion jam. But I don't have a thing, a cracker assortment. I wasn't in charge of crackers. Trader Joe's has a lot of crackers. Someone might have brought this up Christmas Eve because that's what we had, I think, because we had all of these original and cracked pepper, poppy seed water crackers, and vegetable and wheat entertainer crackers. That's what we had Christmas Eve. But I didn't bring them, so I'm not the only one who shops at Trader Joe's. So, and that's a good one if you're having, you get 4 different kinds of crackers. Let's see, the next page is more cheese, a Gouda, a French pave, some salami trio. So these are all nuts and fruits and honey. So those are all appetizer things. And I guess like I would probably, if I buy any stuff like this, I would just bring it and I would forget what I brought. So I can't give any definite things on these. Great Big Gouda, though. That's a good name for a cheese. Then on this page, pistachio and pomegranate crisps. I saw those, but I haven't tried those. Lemon ricotta. No. They say it represents a blurry line, I guess, because, yeah, what are you going to use it for? But, you know, that a Greek olive stuffed triumvirate, that would be good for having olives for people to pop in their mouths, but I didn't see that. It even gives you a tip: deliver the jar as a host or hostess gift when you're invited to a shindig at a foodie's friend place, or present it in a basket of tasty treats. I love Greek olives, so. And this one I have tried, Trader Joe's fondue, and they have a couple different ones of the Swiss Elemental cheese, or however you say it, mixed with those different cheeses. And we had it, my daughter and I, we had it for dinner one night with broccoli and bread. I think that's what I made. Did I have any meats? I think just like a couple of good pieces of bread that I toasted in the oven. And she liked the cheese, you know, it was a little bit risky, because it's some intense tasting cheese. But you know, it worked. So that was a hit, but that was a couple weeks ago. We had, I think it was right around when I was prepping for Thanksgiving, because we had a dark pumpernickel or dark rye, and then what do you call that other one? Sourdough. So that's a good weeknight meal. Here's some pre-made appetizers, bacon wrapped dates with goat cheese. I don't eat goat cheese. You may have heard, in goat, I can taste the goat, and I'm not, this isn't anything against goats and goat's milk and goat cheese. I just can taste the goat in there. And I don't know if that's from desensitization. You say, can you taste the cow? I said, I can't. I can taste the goat, but I can't taste the cow. So I don't know, you know, I drank a lot of cow's milk as a child, so I don't know, but I just did find goat stuff to be a little gamey or a little goaty. So that would be the downside of that. Bacon wrapped dates sound pretty good. Cocktail pups, got those. Yeah, I have them in the freezer right now, and then we'll probably wrap those, like one night when I'm desperate for dinner. What I will do is those like Pillsbury, I think Trader Joe's has their own version of those croissants. You take or like flaky, they're called flaky layers. I don't know what, you know, you make your own dinner rolls. You wrap the hot dog in that, and then your kid will eat them most of the time, or you give them for lunch the next day. So I have those in my freezer. I did that last year. Mini brie at Croute, Croute. What does that mean? It comes out near the top of us. It's close. What is it? Bite-sized portion. Oh, and a puff pastry. Oh boy, that sounds good. We did have baked brie on one Christmas day, I think. Someone made it, and they made it from their own. They made their own puff. They made their own dough, or maybe they used pre-made pie dough, but it was good. And then when I was in the Czech Republic, I like to eat a lot of schmazany syr, which is fried cheese. And that was delicious. Deep fried cheese or fried cheese, schmazany syr. I think that's close. Then they have some more. They have a lot of appetizers, pistachios, scallops wrapped in bacon. I don't know. I can't buy scallops in a store. Like, the only time I'll have scallops is at a restaurant. I don't think I've had scallops in a long time, but it seems like they got to be, and then they have pre-made cocktail stirs with the gherkin. There's something handy. Chili pepper, red bell. That's a good idea to save time. And those come in a jar. I can't have that, but, if you want to do that for something, that's a cool idea. Holiday ham. I'm not a big ham fan either. Wow, this is really getting to know me. I don't know. I feel like ham's a little dry for me and a little salty. I don't know. I mean, I remember when we would get ham as a kid, it would probably be like Easter ham, I think, would be the big deal. And I think that was it. I said, well, I don't need any more ham in my life after that. And I've had the honey baked ham, I think, or some other ham, at different people's houses. And it doesn't do it for me. Also, one time when I was in England, I thought I was ordering a steak, but I ordered a ham steak. I'm afraid of serving staff, waiters and waitresses, so I didn't ask because it was grilled, and they just bought me a grilled piece of ham. And I was expecting this. So that was like, you live and you learn. So that's out. Fresh cut pineapple rings. Can't go wrong with that. I'll have to, because you get them with ham. Or, but $3.50 for 14 ounces. I'd have to look at that. That sounds a little pricey. They have tamales. Now, they have these all year long, and actually sometimes I'll buy them. They have a chicken and green chili, and then a pork and red sauce, and then a vegetarian with cheese and green salsa. I do like the pork and red sauce tamales from here. Now, they're not going to be like legit tamales your abuela is making. But if you're desperate for lunch, these are great because just let me give you a little, my little tip. They come in I think they come 6 to a package. Let me see, 6 for $6.99. And 2 of those make a nice lunch. And because they're tamales, so they're in corn husks. Like what I do is when I get the package home, I open it up and then I put 2 each in a container. I put 4 of them in the freezer, if it's close to the week, or I'll put them all in the freezer, but 2 and 2, and then I'll have them for lunch. And if they're frozen, you just put them in your bag and then they thaw. By lunchtime, they're really easy to heat up because of the corn husk. They come out of the microwave nice. So that's a good lunch. And especially if they're in the freezer and they say, I got nothing for lunch. For me, it's usually, ramen. And then believe it or not, last week I ran out of ramen. And then again, this Tuesday, I forgot. I said, I have nothing for lunch. And then I say, okay, I got to stop on the way to work. And then I never remember. Stuffed lobster. I'm allergic to, what do you call those? Shellfish. So I can't have that. Holiday La Orange. Those are navel oranges. I don't know. How do oranges in the holidays? I like oranges, like with cloves. Does anybody do that? We used to do that. My mom would do it. And I think she taught me that. And you take an orange and then you take cloves and you stick it in the orange and it smells good. It smells like holidays. So there you go. Holiday fruit spread. I didn't have this. We did have someone made their own apple chutney, applesauce. Yeah, and that was good. So a fruit spread is probably good too. And then this one I did have, uncured bacon-wrapped porchetta pork roast. And it's $6.99 a pound, and you roast it, I forget how long. And what I did, you roast it for, I don't know if you roast it for a few hours or what. But, if you take it and then you put, you can buy a bag of small potatoes or fingerling potatoes at Trader Joe's and then some carrots. and maybe an onion that's quartered, and then you put all that down, and then you put the pork roast on top of it. However you do your roasting normally, you got yourself a dinner right there, and you just stick it in the oven. And it comes, my daughter liked that very much too. She said, "Dad, this meat is good." So, and then you have everything. You have your starch, you have your vegetable, for the adults, you have some onion to add a little flavor. And, you could have a salad first. And Trader Joe's makes, you can, they have bagged salads, or they have everything to assemble your own salad. Okay, this is all wine and stuff, so I can't even look at that. Another page of wine. Okay, here we go. On to the next thing. Okay, here's chocolate mint black tea. I bought this. I haven't drank it yet. So I don't know how it is, but I did buy it. Just sounded like an interesting idea. Chocolate mint black tea. Though I still have the holiday tea from last year. I've only had part of that holiday tea, so we'll see how long, tea lasts forever, right? Then there's this thing called blackberry spritzer. I thought about buying this, but I never did. It's packs the juice of 17 blackberries and a hint of lemon juice into a 750 milliliter bottle. And it looks interesting. Like, usually I just buy the sparkling apple juice instead, because they're right next to each other. Because they say, well, I'm not going to buy 2 bottles of this blackberry spritzer, and if it's good, then it won't be enough, and I'll be disappointed. And if it's terrible, then I'll be disappointed. So, though I have bought, my goal, I didn't pull this off because I brought some of these for the holiday, for Christmas, and I did, my goal was to buy enough, what do they call that? Sparkling grape juice, so that me and my daughter could celebrate every month. Like, we'd drink a bottle of that, like on Friday night, we'd pop the cork. Luckily my daughter doesn't listen to this podcast, but, I think I have 3, I brought 3, and then I felt bad, we didn't drink them at dinner. That's always an awkward thing when you go to someone's house, and and then what you brought doesn't get used. I said, well, that's really cool. It has the foil and the cork pops, and, it's very visceral for a kid. And because I can't drink, it's cool to be able to drink out of a champagne bottle, even though it's only grape juice. And, we can pretend we just won the World Series or the NBA championship, but I couldn't put the words to say, we didn't drink that grapefruit juice. You mind if I take it with me? The worst is if you get caught by your hosts, taking stuff back, I guess they probably wouldn't say anything. They'd just look at you, with sad eyes. But I didn't even do that. Most of the stuff that I brought, I was in charge of sparkling beverages this year anyway. And most other stuff I brought, I drank. So just not that. But I still have more at home. Then there's a cinnamon roll wreath. I didn't see this. I probably would have bought it. A wreath of cinnamon rolls. Oh, no, it's in the freezer. That's why. I'll have to look. I don't know. Cinnamon rolls are another tough commodity. The ones that come in the tube are always terrible, though I buy them once every 4 or 5 months. They're in the tube, with the dinner rolls. And they come with their own frosting, but there's something chemical about them that I don't like. So I don't know if a frozen one. Oh, it does have a proofing process. I might have to pick these up if they're still available. So I guess that one's pending. Then there's another tea, which I bought because they said it sells out. Candy cane green tea. Decaf, delish, desired. And they said they've had it since 2009. I never heard of it before this year. But I bought one thing. I did tell myself, when it was out of stock the first time I went there after reading this, and I said, oh boy, I didn't say, oh boy, I said, darn, I missed the candy cane green tea. I really blew it and missed that rush, but then it was there the next time. But then I had to say, don't buy 2. Please, Drew, just buy 1. They said, but we got to stock up. It's going to sell out. And I said, just buy one, please. We still have the tea from last year, and we have the autumnal tea still in there. And also there's tea in the freezer from the time you were at that mall. And they said, you're right. I'm doing good on the listener's tea, but yeah. Okay, I'll only buy one. So I have that. I just haven't opened it yet. That sounds cool. Candy cane green tea. What does it say? What's so special about this tea? It's a really delicious mix of decaffeinated green tea blended with vanilla bean, cinnamon, wait a second, and peppermint. Okay, we'll see, I guess, about this tea. This one has sold out this year, peppermint hot chocolate. Believe it or not, I got to give this one a big F. And it pains me to do so. I bought it like 2 years ago, and I wouldn't buy it again because, one, it's there's not a lot in there. It comes with a tin, but then there's a plastic bag in the tin. And then by the time you get, like, say, if you give me a tin, just put the freaking powder in there. I can't get a powder out of a bag back into a tin without making a huge mess. But, they say, well, geez, we got standards and stuff. And then, I don't know, like it didn't give, it said, well, just the spoon recipe, I think, was unspecific. So it said, well, just spoon as much as you like, between 1 and 4. And they said, well, just the freaking bags of hot cocoa that we've, for the last 30 years, is the agreement on how to consume hot cocoa. Now you want me to just spoon whatever I feel like it? What the heck? And then the final blow was that it just wasn't peppermint enough. Like I said, well, like how much, like I kept having to add more to get my desired peppermint level. And you can blame these coffee places for that because they really do a good job of pepperminting the heck out of what they make. Okay, there's the next thing will be another embarrassing thing, but so we'll go to that one last. Wintery blend coffee. That was pretty good. I just drink it in the Trader Joe's. But it's probably good in a little shot glass. I don't know if I could drink it every morning, but it has like spices and stuff. And then see this one, chocolate peppermint almond beverage. That sounds good too, but 32 ounces for $1.79, but it would depend on, how pepperminty it is, and then how much sugar. It's like, if it's going to be like the same amount of sugar soda, I might as well have soda. And then speaking of health issues, nog for your noggin, $2.99 a quart at Trader Joe's, and they have light eggnog and regular eggnog. And as any physician will tell you, I've drank a lot of eggnog this season. Still I've been drinking it since before Halloween when the stores started stocking it. And I'm not trying to be funny. I've drank an obscene amount of eggnog, obscene, this year. And you say, how obscene, Scoots? I'd say probably 10 gallons. I would estimate 10 gallons of eggnog. Okay, so stop laughing. I'm serious. And maybe a half gallon of it, maybe 3/4, maybe even a gallon was light eggnog. The rest was full force. And I never drank eggnog when I drank alcohol. I think I've talked about this, but just because it just seemed like it seemed like it would just take up too much space in your stomach. And, I wanted to drink other stuff that was more, said I'll get around to drinking the eggnog, but I never did. And then I said, I don't even know if I like it, but then it's now that I can't drink alcohol, this is something like a forbidden fruit. Of course, I overdo it. And I've probably next year, I'll never drink eggnog again. But this year I've just been drinking it like it's like a little milkshake. Every night I have eggnog, and I pretend it's a milkshake. And I have found there's a lot of variety and taste, and I have yet to make my own eggnog. I will at some day. But the Trader Joe's one's pretty good. The light one, I wouldn't go. If you're going to drink it, you might as well drink the full poison, full strength nog. And you might say, Scoots, what other nogs have you tried? And I'd say, well, let me see if I can remember. Great question. I did the one from, what is it called? It's not Albertsons anymore, Rallies, whatever that eggnog's called, Sunnyside. Maybe that's what that's called, or maybe that's what Trader or Safeway's eggnog. I tried that one. And then I tried some gourmet ones. And the way I determined the gourmet versus the regular is the price. Regular store half gallon is about $2.99. And then the gourmet brands are $4.99. And I'll be honest, like eggnog is so overpowering and intense and like bad for you anyway and sugary. It's nice. I guess I didn't think I'd go on an eggnog tangent, especially at this time of year when you really don't need it. But, why make a sleep podcast? So it is nice to have two of them because then you can do eggnog tasting by nothing by yourself in your kitchen. I don't have any cats, so I guess that's an upside. Though I do have Koa. She's pretty much like a cat. Trying to figure out how to, but so, I don't know if it's worth the investment. Like it wasn't like I tried a couple different ones and you can tell the taste difference and you can tell the difference, believe it or not, between the sugars and the high fructose and that, but there wasn't any one like eggnog, cause there's they're not all the same. I guess I can say that, but there wasn't one where I was like, oh boy. I mean, at this point I've had so much that I probably am just like, please, Drew, don't buy any more. And I said, well, we'll see when we go to the store if they still have it. But I've consumed a lot of nog. As I said, at least 6 gallons. I can confidently say, more than 10 gallons. 1, 2, yeah, probably 10 gallons, maybe even more, probably more. I would hope, I guess a gallon, let's see, a gallon a week. Yeah. So that's something, that'll be 2017. It'll be I'll go nog free and then I'll get a cholesterol test, in March once that nog gets out of my system. Okay, we got to kick it up. Okay, cocoa glazed almonds. I didn't try that. Cinnamon star cookies. I bought these, but I haven't tried them yet. They're a bit firmer than their cousins. It was a pronounced cinnamon flavor and a subtle hint of lemon. And I probably will try those at some point. Those are sealed, so hopefully I didn't check the date. Gold coins, I didn't buy those. Double dark chocolate gingerbread caramel cookie bar, I didn't buy that because of dark chocolate. Here's 10 out of 10. Butter cookie wreaths. I ate one, I've eaten 2 tubs of these and I have one more left. This is a 10 out of 10. It's those butter cookies. They're not fancy cookies. They're delicious cookies. They're also cute cookies, according to Trader Joe's, because they have that. They're wreath shaped. And they're the ones people make, and they have like the crunchy red and green sprinkles on there, and they're delicious. That's all I need to say. Those are great. Artisan crafted English toffee. I didn't buy that because usually someone always gets almond roca, so you can just eat a little bit of theirs. Jingle jangle. This has too many things in there. It's a tin with pretzels and popcorn, too many things. I don't know. I don't find, once you get into, and there's a lot of dark chocolate. Then this one, chocolate marbles. Now this year, these are $4.99. I still have a box and a half of these from last year. They're 2 half circles of chocolate filled with different flavors. And I don't know why I bought these last year. I don't know why I bought 2 because I only ate half of one box. But the boxes they put them in last year weren't that great. This year they're in a little bit better box, I noticed. And you could say I've lost my marbles, but I do know my marbles are, or my Trader Joe's marbles. Gingerbread sticks, I haven't tried those. 8 in a bag for $2.99. And then the gingerbread house kit. I did not buy one this year, but if you listen to that episode about stuffing, I did have one from 2015 and 2016. And I did bring, so then I brought these and I told the kids that decorated the cookies. They said you could also make these gingerbread cookie houses, which you can't eat them because one's from 2014 and one's from 2015 because now it's 2016. So yeah, one was from 2014 and one was from 2015. Both expired. But still, one was still boxed. One I had unboxed during the recording of a podcast episode. And but those didn't get put together. But they did get left at one of the houses I was at. So I don't have to deal with that shame anymore, of hoarding gingerbread because you can't really throw it out. And I did say to myself, like, one day me and my daughter in July will make a gingerbread house. And it'll be hilarious, but we never did it because of me. Okay, I got to kick it up here. Gingerbread cake and baking mix. I haven't tried that, but maybe I will. Gingerbread flavored dog treats. Cole liked these. And they come in a 16-ounce box. They're hard dog treats, and I did give her these last year. I didn't buy them this year because she has a couple other favorites of Trader Joe's dog treats. So... and like they're big, so they're better. Like it's like giving your dog like almost like a meal as a treat. Where I like to give Ko like a bunch of little treats. I say this will make you like me better, right? Chocolate chip Pantone or Panettone. I think this thing gets lumped in with fruitcake in my internal system, so I just never have it. So I don't even know what that tastes like, regular or chocolate chip. Chicken and salmon dog treats. These look it's only 5 ounces for $5, and Koa would eat that in like a few bites, so it's a little pricey. Oh, macaroons. I didn't see these. Chewy and crispy. Chocolate. This is like a different kind of macaroon de fets. Fets, F-E-T-E-S. Oh, they're in the freezer. Oh, I think I've seen these. Maybe I just didn't buy them. Tenenbaum potato snacks. These are $1.99. I did not see these this year, but at my brother's, we had lunch there because this is a genetic thing, except my brother does it in the Halloween Thanksgiving Trader Joe's thing. Him and his girlfriend bought all the pumpkin pie spice stuff. And then they had a big dinner, as a lunch party, where we just had every pumpkin pie spice thing for brunch. I guess it was brunch, like pumpkin spiced lunch. There's even a pumpkin pie spice salad, I think. And but he had the Halloween potato crisps, and they taste like they're the reconstituted potatoes made into a chip. What was called munchies were the ones they had back in the day. And they're pretty tasty. I think that's what they are. Potato crisps, yeah. Then there's Lubuchkin. I don't know what that is. Cookies. It's a different cookie. I don't think I've seen those. Almonds and hazelnuts. Maybe I'll buy them if I go. I'm probably going to go to Trader Joe's tomorrow. Cedar and balsam candle. I did buy this. It smells pretty good. It comes in a tin. Only thing is, I'm not, it sounds so sensitive. I don't do well around candles. Whatever chemicals make candles smell make it hard for me to breathe. If you burn the candle, it obviously makes it hard to breathe, but just something about those chemicals. So what my goal usually is I have that candle above my toilet. And when I go to work, I say, let me remember to take the thing off. And then my bathroom will smell good when I get home and I can put the lid back on. But I never remember. So that'll probably end up in my underwear drawer. So my underwear will smell like cedar and balsam. Also, that was my favorite Suave hair shampoo. When I started buying my own shampoo, it was balsam, and something. It was by Suave. That was my hair shampoo. Have to pick some of that up, get back to the old. Maybe I'll get some VO5 hot oil over there. This is so good. This episode's going long here. Okay, this is like gifts. They had a grooming kit and a shaving kit, ivory pillar candles, poinsettias, skincare. None of that we really bought. Oh boy, this isn't a holiday one, but this is one I buy a lot of. Twice a year, a head to toe balm, BALM. And this is what I balm myself with when I talk about putting the balm on. This is the balm. Like I'll use badger balm like around my chest, if like a nighttime badger balm if I'm bombing. But like when my arms and my legs and my back are dry, I cover it with this balm. And it's formulated with high quality gentle on skin ingredients like shea butter, mango seed butter, cocoa seed butter, or oat kernel, flower extract, apricot kernel, macadamia seed nut oil. And it's pleasant, mild fragrance, orange peel, lavender, rosemary, and eucalyptus. It's gentle on the nose too. And it really is a head to toe balm, they say, and it is. So like I use it. I mean, the problem is I don't know if it's my skin is so dry, but I really got to put the balm on those nights when I feel too tossy and turny. There's a hand cream trio I haven't tried, and then amaryllis bulbs and wax. I don't know what that is. And then there's this white pine moisturizing soap and lotion. My brother's girlfriend had this, and it smells great. But I just I go through hand soap too fast. So I don't buy it by the container like that. Gelato filled Panetone or whatever. It sounds pretty good. I didn't see it or buy it. Popcorn tin. I gave that to my dad last year as a gift. A big spender I am. But we had it one day when we were sitting around, because last year I had family visiting. Caramel cheddar, white cheddar, olive oil, and kettle. That was a hit, except for one of them. I don't know which one. Wreaths they had. Chili chocolate. I've never tasted that. Mini chocolate mint stars. Whoa, those are mint stars? I did not know that. I missed those, but I guess they're dark chocolate. Oh, that's probably why. I think I had that last year. I didn't like it. Here's another one I have two tubs of. I've had a half a tub of this, crispy peppermint chocolate chip cookies. I bought a second tub mistakenly before I'd opened my first because they said, well, these got peppermint. I'm going to love them. And I don't dislike them, but I haven't binged on them. So that probably is like it's good for my health that I haven't ate a whole tub of cookies with a giant pint glass of eggnog. But at the same time, it doesn't exactly, it's not a strong, if I'm not binging, then it's not a good recommendation. Say they're not bad. But if you get, it comes in the same tub, those butter wreath cookies, just buy those. Just skip these. Buy the butter wreath. Buy 2 tubs, buy 3 tubs of those butter wreath cookies. At 3 tubs, that's when you'll get burned out. That's the end of the Fearless Flyer, but I have 2 more products I want to talk about because they're still in my cupboard. From the past holiday seasons. One is like the dark chocolate covered peppermint JoJo dipped in candy canes. So this is like an Oreo that Trader Joe's makes at that time of year, but it has peppermint filling. Then it's dipped in dark chocolate and like peppermint chunks. And maybe 5 years ago, I was obsessed with these and I burned myself out. I think it was because one time I had it with orange juice. You ever have like chocolate and orange juice? It's like a huge mistake and you can't really come back from that. And I don't know if that really happened or that was a dream, but I still have 1 box in my freezer. And then before I started recording, I went through my cupboards. I found one in the back of my cupboard, half eaten box from probably 2014. Though I do think I got 1 box as a gift last year from someone. I do, those are good up for planes. If you're going to be traveling around the holidays, bring one of those boxes and give it to the flight attendants as a holiday gift because it's sealed and it's good to have 1 or 2. But I think the dark chocolate, I just burned out. I don't think I could ever eat one of those again. And for a time, and they were the greatest thing I'd ever tasted in my life. And usually this is where it goes wrong. And you'll hear with this next product. And then I'll talk about the product, and then I'll talk about how it goes horribly wrong for me. These are, I'm a big lover of white chocolate and peppermint. And this last year they had white chocolate and peppermint covered pretzel thins, which is a flat pretzel, like a chip, a combination of a pretzel and a chip. And I think 2 years ago I got hooked on these, but I had only bought 1 or 2 bags. And they said, these are the cat's pajamas. And then last year I said, well, I want to have 1 bag of these a month. So I tried to buy 12 bags over the holidays, so they wouldn't catch on and think I'm a freak. Like the first couple of times I bought 2 bags, so then I'd have a bag to eat and a bag to save. And at some point around April or March, I just gave up on eating those. So I still have and I didn't buy 12 bags, but I think I still have 2 unopened bags that are probably expired. Like the chocolate marbles I looked, those expired in March of last year, or this year, 2016, so last year. And then look at the pretzels, the Trader Joe's deep chocolate cookies. I couldn't find expiration date on those. But, that's the method I usually do. It's like, well, if I like it now, I'll probably like it in June. So I should stock up. And so I think I'm single-handedly, obsessively keeping Trader Joe's in business. But yeah, there's if this works, if people like this, then I can do a run-through every once in a while. This is a Fearless Flyer run-through. Thanks, everybody, and good night. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots, and you might be the only one hearing this message right now and listening to me, and that's why I need your attention. If you're the one person hearing me, you're the reason the podcast exists here in the deep, dark night. Unless you're new, then this probably isn't the best message for you. Or you're like, yeah, I've only been listening for a couple weeks, and I'm almost done with exams, or my guest is about to leave, or my travel for work's about to end. If that's the case, don't worry about it either. The podcast exists for you too, but it really exists with the community of people that the podcast is a part of their life on a regular, ongoing basis, whose support we need back. So we're trying to get, well, I guess it doesn't really matter the number because it's just me and you here. And it's really the truth. I've been doing this a long time. And it really comes out, because here's the thing. If this message is getting through to you, if it's not getting through to you, it means it's not getting through to anybody else either. But if you're nodding your head, you're saying, yeah, this podcast makes my life better. Yeah, I want it to be here 6 months from now so I can listen to it and other people can listen to it. Yeah, actually, it's more than made my life better. I remember what it was like not to be able to sleep. And yeah, I listen on an ongoing basis. I would love some of that sweet bonus content. And yeah, either I could afford to support the show at a level where I feel comfortable and I feel like, yeah, that's the kind of value it brings to me. Or yeah, I could cancel that streaming service I don't even use. I use Sleep With Me 10 times more than that streaming service, and I pay more for it. What am I doing? If you're nodding your head to all that stuff, the biggest challenge is you got to go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus right now, unfortunately, and interrupt your sleep. You could set up the bonus content tomorrow, but you might be the only one. And it's only the thing is, if I get through to you, then I have hope to get that 1,400 plus other people to support the show as well. But if you put it off, if you're like, no, somebody else will do it. Nah, I don't feel like it. Nah, I've been there. But that means, so I got to figure this out. And I love making this show. I'm not giving up on this, right? I want to keep making the podcast and bringing comfort. More people than ever need this podcast right now. And that's when it gets the toughest to make the show. And we were able to do this. We're just trying to get back to where we were in 2020, in 2021. We got there before in a tough time. So, yeah, we could use your support. If the podcast makes your life better on a regular basis, do not wait. Sign up at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Thanks.